Hello, hello, and today I'm going to be showing off the DoomBull I recently painted. Now, in particular, this one, as you all know, this one is going to be a little special, strictly because my theme for my Beast of Chaos army is basically a call of winter, or the oncoming famine that winter does provide. Now, with Beasts of Chaos, these particular raiders are going to be traversing the everlasting storms and frosty winds that come forth. In particular, this particular DoomBull, however, is quite iced, not exactly iced out, but chilled in a certain frequency in a way. As noted with his blue skin, which I'll go over the entire paid scheme later, he is, for a better term, the leader of the pack, in a way, as most DoomBulls are. DoomBulls will in fact lead from the front. They will charge in, they will attack, they will slaughter everything, devour their enemies, and continue on for the next battle, over and over and over again. So, I thought for his paint scheme, I decided to keep him on a nice like a discolored sub-zero temperature. But we'll focus more on that in a moment. Let's get his chart and stuff out of the way. So, DoomBulls. DoomBulls are the dominant beasts of the war herd, charging ahead of their stampeding kin and leading by brute example. Like all Bulgors, they are consumed by the blood greed, and they gluttonously devour the raw flesh of those they kill. From the war scroll, they have a 7-inch movement, 8 wounds, 7 bravery, and a 5-up armor save. They carry 2 weapons, the Bulgor horns and the Slaughterer's axe. The Bulgor horns have a 1-inch range. You can make 2 attacks with them. It's a 4-up to hit and a 4-up to wound. They do not have any rend, but they also do only 1 point of damage per successful wound. The Slaughterer's axe is the primary 2-handed weapon that they carry. It has also a 1-inch range. You can make 3 attacks with it, 3 up to hit, 3 up to wound, and a -2 to rend. And each swing makes 3 damage. Description. The DoomBull is a single model armed with a Slaughterer's axe and the Bulgor horns. They have the following abilities. Blood Greed. Each unmodified wound roll of a 6 for attacks made by this unit inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to any normal damage. So basically speaking, if I manage to make a 6 with any of his attacks, 1 additional mortal wound is dealt on that model or unit, depending on how many there are. Since he is also a hero, he has the following command ability: Slaughterer's Call. You can use this command ability at the start of combat phase. If you do, pick a friendly warherd unit within 12 inches of this model with command ability. Add 1 to wound rolls for attacks made by that unit until the end of the phase. So, as a nice example, if I basically pair him up with a squad of Bulgors, they will get +1 to wound. Basically, it's also any warherd unit within 12 inches. So, let's say my primary example would be Bulgors. If they're fighting someone else, I basically give the Slaughterer's Call, give those Bulgor squad +1 to wound, and for their current wounding abilities, like they basically have a 3 up to wound on most of their weapons except their horns, so it'll be +2 to wound, and for their axes, which can do amazing damage. And that will be until the end of the phase. So if there's any abilities or effects that allow that particular unit to attack again or to deal extra wound rolls, it'd be epic. And that will basically be it for the DoomBull itself. Sadly, he does not have much in the way of abilities, but he's specifically designed to be a beatstick. Now, we're going to go ahead and focus on the primary question on everyone's mind: why in the world I painted him like this? So, as I was probably explaining earlier, because my warherd is specifically a winter-themed-esque army, they will be basically a frozen tundra or icy cold area. Now, in particular, DoomBulls love charging in the front. They love fighting first. They love getting into combat. So, 9 times out of 10, he will be at the very front of the army, even in front of the Greyseer, who will basically be my primary commander. As such, he has learned to suffer the harshest of blizzards and deal with the most of the cold. As such, his skin is iced blue through the sub-zero temperatures that he's suffered greatly from. And we'll go ahead and start off with his paint scheme real quick. So for all the leather straps that you can see, such as on his arm, across his waist, especially the one on his back, I did a nice leather brown color to it. For all metallics, such as his weapons, his armor, his shoulder pads, he has having a nice plate mail metal washed down with the Dragunov Nightshade into a iron breaker for highlighting. Now, the primary thing for his skin will be obviously a nice blue, the fang coloring for a base, and then for his hair, I did a celestial gray for a nice, basically for the highlighting itself. Those will be the base colors. Now, in particular, all this kind of interchanges out a bit, but basically I started off with the Hoeth blue because I was supposed to have, because my rust gray kind of emptied out, so I couldn't really use it as much. So I started off with the Hoeth blue into the Altrock blue in order to give his proper highlights. And then on the fur, I highlighted it all off with the Fernesian gray. And then finally, for the hair, I also highlight the edge highlighted with a blue horror blue. Basically give that nice icy white color. Then I took my dry brush and then doused bits and took my dry brush, basically dabbed pieces and bits and all over him with a matte white to basically be where he would get hit by the blizzard constantly over and over, where it'd be more brighter, such as under here, bits of his back covering the hair. And same thing with the texture, I also went with the Valhallan Blizzard to give it that nice essence. And then same thing like all the others, this would basically be wherever he wouldn't be brushing it off, such as hiding in his gauntlets, accumulating on the shoulder pad, coating his hair, as well as the very floor that he stomps through. Random bits, random pieces, just things that his body has somewhat accumulated and he has gotten used to itself. In particular, this particular paint scheme I actually really enjoyed. The only annoying thing for this model was instead of the standard plastic, this one came in a pewter, which is basically like, I want to say a blend of metal, not a blend, it's like a thick, harder blend of plastic itself. So it required nice super glue. Luckily I used myself some Gorilla as a good generic cheap super glue thing that holds pieces together. But at least for that, I definitely can say with the highlights and the layering and stippling, I was able to at least make him come out very nice and ornate. So especially highlighting over where he would be, how he would look as a proper, quote, field commander, if you can even call it that, as he plows right through the enemy's defenses. This would be a nice start for him. Other than that, that will be it for his thing and the paint scheme itself. I do thank you all for coming along and watching the video. This one probably will be out a minimum a few days after my previous video. Definitely leave a comment on if you like the paint scheme, if you'd like me to try something else, if there's a particular model that you want me to see and paint or talk about, feel free to let me know. I do also want to try to do lore videos, but for now I'm just focusing on trying to paint through my closet of shame. And once that's cleared out, I'll be able to do proper things. And a reminder, I am open for commissions, so if you guys want me to commission you some models or two, feel free to let me know. I'll try to find a way to communicate, message back and forth. We'll get something set up. I thank you all very much for joining me, and I hope to see you again next time.